So, okay, we will start. We will start with the chanting. Hello. And then we will do the meditation. After that, there will be a little Dhamma discussion on Abhidhamma, an introduction to Abhidhamma, upon request of a participant. And we'll see how it goes. Alright, let's start with paying homage to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dutiyampi sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Tatiyampi sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Pānāti pātā vīramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi. Adinādāna vīramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi. Kāmesu miccācārā vīramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi. Musāvādā vīramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi. Surānīraya majjapamā daṭṭhānā vīramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi. Iti piso bhagavā arahaṃ sammā sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sārathi sattha deva manussānam buddho bhagavāti. Swakkhāto bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccattam veditabbo viññuhiti. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho. Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho. Ñāyapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho. Sāmi Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidam Chattari Purisa Yugani Attha Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakhineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyakhetang Lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we will do some meditation. I ask you to find a comfortable posture, supportive of your sitting for about 30 minutes. This will be a guided meditation. If you wish, your eyes will remain open or you may close your eyes. It's easier to begin with our first step of meditation, that is to relax this body. Breathe in and breathe out and feel the body. Breathe in and breathe out, feeling the bodily sensations involved with breathing in and breathing out. Begin to relax self-discipline and motivate yourself for an unbroken, continuous sitting. Inspired by the samadhi, stillness developed by the wise ones before you. Your body will remain stilled like this statue in front of you, and you are breathing in and breathing out, attentively, carefully observing the feelings with bodily awareness. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in again and breathe out. If you have to move some parts of your body, you are free to do so. But mindfully and attentively, without getting too distracted into streams of thoughts. You keep a gentle smile on your face, adding some light to your face. This is a visual, imaginary exercise in some ways, very physical as well, as you ground yourself in the space here and now. Breathe in and breathe out, relaxing your upper body above the neck and above the waist. Setting up your intentions to find complete stillness, samadhi, during this meditation. Breathe in and breathe out intentionally, wanting to relax the following parts of your body: your face, you breathe in, breathe out. The top of your head, breathe in, breathe out. The back of your head, breathe in and breathe out. Straightening your neck and the head, breathe in and breathe out. Your shoulders, breathe in and breathe out. Your spine, breathe in and breathe out, straightening it up, keeping it at a straight line above the waist area. Your arms, your palms and fingers, breathe in and breathe out. Your chest and the abdomen, breathe in and breathe out. Just like feeling these parts of your body, acknowledging their presence. The muscles of your upper body, breathe in and breathe out. The nerves, breathe in and breathe out. You may not feel them, but you are just relaxing this body. Below the pelvic area, relax down to your knees, thighs, sitting posture, breathe in and breathe out. Below from your knees, your shin bones, down to your ankles, breathe in and breathe out. Not much feelings down there, but they are pressed against the floor, against the cushion. You may want to wiggle and move and allow the blood circulation if necessary, whenever it is necessary. Like stretching your limbs. Your feet, especially the soles of your feet, the toes, remaining parts of your legs. Breathe in and breathe out. Back into the center of your body, sort of the heart base. Just as you are seeing a lotus blooming, a lotus flower, just like any flower opening, you're opening the body, upper body from the base, from pelvic area, from down below, just like lights opening. A radius, a circle of light, a bubble, illuminating, surpassing the boundaries of this body, pervading the space around you. Although you may not feel this way very much, but feeling luminous, shining like a bright star. You are the star that shines bright. What you know is limited. But what you don't know is boundless. So it's better to know that you don't know. And there rises great wisdom from that space. When you understand that you don't know, you start to listen. Open your ears to the limitless wisdom within you and outside of you. This process is called awakening. The journey is within yourself, not outside. That's why we look inwardly into our always present, ever present respiratory process, breathing in and breathing out. This simple exercise leads you to deeper wisdom, deeper stillness, to a place where you can open yourself into limitless compassion, loving kindness, equanimity, and to limitless joy. So the purpose is clear. Let us now again go back to our simple exercise of being mindful, being aware of the in-breath and out-breath. Nothing but the in-breath and the out-breath. Every time you get distracted in your mind, you come back to your breathing in and breathing out, carefully, mindfully. May you become aware of the expanding nature of this awareness, or in other words, your mind itself. Body becomes one unit. This silence is to cleanse the mind. Open your heart, deepen in the wisdom, and relax in that deepened space. Safe, secure, like a sanctuary. No judging whatsoever, no controlling. Breathing in and breathing out is the only activity you find is happening. Your thoughts begin to silence. You are here with this deep, long breath or short breath as they happen, or medium breath. What is happening now? The body has less and less movements, heatings. The body begin to relax. This composure is necessary for wisdom to arise. Wisdom is to see this very experience detached from it with your analytical mind. find a body breathing in and breathing out. But there is also more into this. The materiality and mentality involved. You begin to sharpen this understanding by the virtue of the stillness that you develop. Your in-breath and out-breath process has become slow moving process as the body begins to relax. You feel tranquil, or you begin to feel that way. If you don't, you still have loving kindness, an attitude of caring for this body and forgiving. There is no need to rush. You're not going anywhere. You're just being here and now. Conditioning our experience to become relaxed and stilled, composed, collected, and as natural as it can be. There is no need to identify with this experience because experience is constantly changing. It's better if it becomes refined as you go. The only activity you observe is the air going through your nostrils. At some point, the observer and the observing becomes one. turn to page 7 of this booklet, if you have it. If you don't have it, we have it here in the book collection. We will read the discourse on loving kindness, the Buddha's words on loving kindness. So this is not just a reading, this is adding to your practice today. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, okay, as I said in the beginning, there is some interest into a slightly different topic that we may not have discussed before, but who has heard the word Abhidhamma before? So you have. One bird escaped from the library and it's crying for the other one to come. So we'll keep him in our loving kindness. He's a little panicked now. So now we have discussed deep Dhamma here, right? So deep Dhamma perhaps is a simpler way to put Abhidhamma. And because we have been discussing various topics here, like being patient, practicing virtues, cultivating loving kindness, we have kind of explored these topics already. But as this is also the advanced group, although we have only a few people attending today because the rain, but we will see how you feel about a discussion slightly different from our regular discussions. But we may not go very far. Abhidhamma um, is very profound. So let me explain what Abhidhamma really means. Do you know the meaning of Dhamma? What do you think is the meaning of Dhamma?
Truth, teachings.
Truth, teachings.
The path.
What?
The path.
The path.
There's lots of meanings.
Huh?
Has lots of meanings.
Has lots of meanings. I want more.
More use.
Doctrine is another meaning.
Uh,
Teachings is another meaning. Nature is another meaning. Hello. So Dhamma, what the Buddha taught is Dhamma. So you may also say he taught reality, but he also taught other things. And Abhi means something profound. Therefore, people have kind of moved it to the side and focused on the rest of the teachings. So you have Dhamma and Abhidhamma. Dhamma is, let's say, the ordinary teachings, and Abhidhamma, the profound teachings. When the Buddha passed away, 3 months after his passing, monks then decided to collect all the teachings that were scattered in different places. In that process, they put the teachings on discipline into one basket, teachings on sutras into another basket. And that's what we find they did in that very occasion. We don't hear anything about Abhidhamma at that time. But we know that although the term Abhidhamma was not used very much in that period of the time, it has some references in the actual teachings of the Buddha, like I teach you Abhidhamma and Abhivinaya. This is how the Buddha says, or monks at that time said. Abhivinaya means profound discipline. Abhidhamma means profound Dhamma, profound teachings. Right? So there are some references that way, and even some disciples of the Buddha, for example, this monk disciple, Sariputta, who was known for his wisdom, the foremost, the top person from wisdom, he had this interest into analyzing things. He wanted to go deeper and deeper into something that the Buddha taught or something he understood. Say, you say consciousness, and that's not enough for him. He will say eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, body consciousness. He would kind of analyze and go deeper and deeper and deeper. But what I'm trying to say is, in the first council, after the 3 months after the passing away of the Buddha, monks wanted to preserve his teachings, and when they did that, they categorized the teachings into Vinaya and Sutras. Vinaya has different classifications and Sutras has different classifications. So Sutras here means different discourses given at different locations. and these were grouped into specific themes. You know, some were about refuting others' views, so they were long discourses. There are 32 of those, and they were grouped into long discourses, category of long discourses. And then some were about inspiring faith. They were called middle length discourses,
Anjuna.
majjhima, the ones that usually we discuss on Mondays here. And then there were gradual discourses, teachings on one thing of this, one thing of that. So there is one thing and then two things, three things. So there are gradual teachings. Monks wanted to. That's Anguttara, Anga Uttara. So go above by one, and then another and another. And then there are connected teachings, Sanyutta. And then they grouped other teachings into smaller versions like Dhammapada, Theragatha, like elders' verses, Therigatha, the verses of nuns. So these became the Skuddhaka Nikaya, smaller groups of there are 15 of smaller categories. But in these groupings you don't find any mentioning about Abhidhamma. So because of that, scholars decided to say that Abhidhamma is not Buddha's teaching. Because you don't find that classification there. But also geographically, Abhidhamma can survive in some place when the first council was held, that the monks who participated in that first council after 3 months after passing away of the Buddha may not have particularly wanted, may have had an interest in adding Abhidhamma into this classifications. But somehow the tradition says that when the Buddha was, when he became enlightened, he spent 49 days contemplating of his awakening, and on the 4th week of that, he contemplated on Abhidhamma. As he was doing that, some his body started radiating different colors from his body. Blue color, red color, different colors. Because he was just, I think he was investigating his own mind, analyzing his own experience. And then you also know that that's that experience. But when he started teaching, especially when he started teaching to the 5 disciples, he took about 5-6 days, even longer, to teach them. But you only find 2.5 pages of teachings preserved in the canon, because that's like the formula you find, and the rest gone missing. Like personal interviews, like talking to them, these are not recorded. The only things that were worthy of recording or were easy to be recorded, they remembered and passed on to a group of monks to memorize, and then their students will memorize accordingly, and their students. They committed never to change any of the teachings, not even a single letter, out of respect to the original teachings. So that solves the question, like how these teachings were preserved to the later days and times. When the Buddha was spending his 7th rains retreat, he would spend 3 months in one place when it was raining in India, especially in the monsoon season. He wanted to pay back to his mother, but his mother passed away 7 days after the birth of the Prince Siddhartha. So when he was 7, mother died, unfortunately. But this mother was born in the Tava, in Tusita or Tava Tinsa heavens. I hear in some stories that she was born in Tusita heaven and she came to Tava Tinsa heaven, to the place where the Buddha was giving these teachings. So the Buddha had to make sort of like an astral body and go to the Tavatinsa heaven to teach the heavenly beings about millions and trillions of heavenly beings, and he would come back during the alms receiving time to the earth, to a specific place where the Anutatta lake, like where I think it's Rishikesh in India right now, and to that place to receive alms. And at that time, Sariputta, that monk who was profound in his wisdom, there to attend the Buddha. So he was the attendant monk, and he received all the teachings from the Buddha, and that's how he then started. He loved those teachings. He started teaching those to his students as he learned from the Buddha. So this is the birth of Abhidhamma. So you have seen the movie Matrix, right? Have you? So in Abhidhamma you find the term Matika, and English scholars translate it as matrix, because it has like classified, analyzed the subtleties of the existence, the mind. When Abhidhamma teachings say there are 52 states of the mind, and there are only 52, not 51, not 53. They have classified it to the furthest any human can classify the mind states. So people don't touch Abhidhamma fearing that they may not understand it, but you find already in the canonical teachings, in the sutras, in long discourses, middle length discourses, connected discourses, gradual teachings, and smaller booklets, you find profound teachings already given by the Buddha. We find some Vibhanga Sutras. Vibhanga is about classification, analyzing things, and they are there in the canon. So some monks who have not studied this will make statements like the Buddha never taught Abhidhamma, but that is not true. He did teach Abhidhamma, and monks added things into it as they classified things. Because when the Buddha started teaching, his teachings were simple in the beginning, and more monks who had different abilities joined the order, started engaging in discussions with the Buddha, and the teachings became nuanced. More classifications came. They would ask questions like, consciousness has these many forms. The Buddha would say, yeah, you can put it that way. So it is now it now becomes a teaching of the Buddha. So this is how Abhidhamma started to flourish. And when it came to the second council that took place 100 years after the passing away of the Buddha, the formation of Abhidhamma became materialized, that monks now have collected the Abhidhamma as well, that profound teachings became books that they memorized. But now, sort of like it became 7 books, but still they are memorizing these. They didn't have any written form at that time. And when it came to the third council that took place during the King Ashoka's period, about 236 years after passing away of the Buddha, um, the last book called Katha Vattupakarana was added to the Abhidhamma. I'll tell you the meaning of this name. This is composed to dispel the views held by some monks who joined the order. To dispel those views, the book was composed by a monk named Moggali Buddhatissa, and this was added. And at that point, they say, Abhidhamma basket of Abhidhamma became complete. So now you see the gradual progress of it, because you would clearly find that this book was added in that specific period of the flourishing of the camp. So in those 7 books, I can tell you the names. The first one is Analyzing of Dhamma, Dhamma Sangani Prakarana. So all the books are named as Prakaranas. In Prakarana means exposition in Abhidhamma. The second one is Vibhanga Prakarana, the exposition on classifications, all dealing with the mind. And Dhatu Katha Prakarana, exposition on elements. And Puggala Panyati Prakarana, this is the fourth one, exposition on persons, individuals and their concepts. Panyati is sort of like promulgations. This is how a person is made. This is how physicality is made. This is how naming happens. This is how forms happen. And then the Kathavattupakarana, the one that was added in the third council, that is about different teachings and refuting those teachings that as non-Buddhist teachings. That's the purpose of the book. The last two, Yamaka Prakarana and Patthana Prakarana. Yamaka Prakarana is about dualities, like diets of things. So like on and off switch, you turn it on, you turn it off. The dualities. And Patthana is about establishing, like Satipatthana, establishing mindfulness. So Patthana Prakarana, establishing establishing of what, but it's about some profound establishing. We will find out if we continue this discussion later. So, have I read all the teachings of Abhidhamma? No. I have studied the history of it, and I have read a little bit from different books just for my own interest. So usually the tradition also holds that those monks who don't know Abhidhamma are not true Dhamma preachers. So I'm not one. That's the traditional view. This comes from Burma, because Burmese monks are very interested in Abhidhamma. Abhidhammic traditions. They have written books after books on Abhidhamma. And in Sri Lanka, only certain monks are interested in Abhidhamma, and more monks, I would say more, it's majority of monks just don't say anything about it. They just leave it aside and start teaching from the sutras. So anyone who studies that Buddha's teachings have Vinaya, Sutra and Abhidhamma, when we only teach sutras, they will say we should also learn Abhidhamma. But when we start that, we start with this introduction. So it has teachings on Kusala Dhamma and Akusala Dhamma, wholesome Dhammas and unwholesome Dhammas. This is the beginning of the first book, Dhamma Sangani Pakarana, in which the commentators of this book says that the Buddha went to Tavatinsa heaven and started teaching, beginning with Kusala Dhamma and Akusala Dhamma, wholesome teachings and unwholesome teachings, and also teachings that do not fall into wholesome and unwholesome, like neutral teachings. Because of the dry bone nature of these teachings, people don't go there very much because they are satisfied with what they hear. There is already enough to do in the sutras. If you take one sutra seriously, and that's enough for you to practice and progress. And you can take Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truth, any teaching, and you can just let go of any other forms, Vajrayana forms, because you find the essence in the Four Noble Truths and you are satisfied with it and you progress towards achieving the goal of freedom from bondage. So that is, I think, enough of an introduction to Abhidhamma. You can Google, find more information. Bhante Sankich and I were talking about this afternoon, and we came to the idea that maybe we can give an introduction and see how it goes. So I can go a little deeper. You have conventional reality and absolute reality. Conventionally, we say, I exist. In absolute reality, when you really take the absolute nature, you will find out that there is no such a thing called I. It's only different constituents, different elements of the experience that creates the concept of an I.
Aggregates?
Definitely. Aggregates, 5 aggregates, give birth to the concept of I. And these are conditioned. What is unconditioned is only the Nibbana, the place that I named as freedom from bondage, a non-existing space. All the other teachings about Chitta, mind, Cetasika, mind contents, Rupa, material form, they are all about conditioned nature. And Abhidhamma is doing a great job in analyzing Chitta, mind, Cetasika, mind contents, mind objects, and Rupa, material form, and then also analyzing the state of Nibbana that is non-existent. There is no person entering into it, but it goes in ways to explain a state of a mind that has experienced Nibbana. So that is what you get if you open that path. So think about this. Let us know how you feel about it. Any surfacing thoughts right now? You?
I'm already curious.
You're curious. Which means you have expectations that we may continue this discussion.
Of course.
We are in deep trouble. What we can do is probably to get a book and start reading page by page to see how we understand this. Okay, we have a book translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi, which is called Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma. That's what we used when we learned Abhidhamma in the university. And I have taught from that book. Probably if everyone agrees on this, maybe we can go in that direction. Yeah. Were you going to say something else?
No, I was wondering, like,
How do we start?
If there's a book,
Yeah.
probably that's a place to start
Mm.
discussing.
I have to ask Bhante Sanchich about this. If he want this group particularly to be the place, because this group we see, because we stopped doing the beginner's meditation on Monday, instead we turn into a sutra discussion class. We find beginners come into this group also, and now they lost this introduction. And we may struggle they may struggle in some places when we sort of throw Abhidhamma into their face. So we have to also think about the practicalities of trying to teach Abhidhamma. But any other opinions?
It'd be good to maybe work it in as this occasional teachings if you can't.
That's a
pull it
good
off.
idea. That's to bring it in when we feel like it is the right time. So like when we
Especially as it concerns practical matters. I mean, I
Yeah.
get that, you know, you might be hard pressed to find practicality in discussing the
Yeah.
dichotomy nature of reality as
yeah,
it
yeah.
goes towards, you know, getting in an argument with your wife, but I'm sure there's
Yeah.
ultimate reality. I'm always right.
Even in arguing with your wife.
Yes.
Ultimate reality. Freedom.
I'm sure there's ways to pull it in.
We'll see as we go. We can think about that, let that sit for a while and see where to go. It's 9 o'clock. I want you to have some rest for the night. Thank you for coming. Good night.
Bhante.
Happy meditation.